Sometimes you'll run into a player who doesn't feel fundamentally solid and yet is so difficult to beat. Beating these types of players is often called zookeeping, and no, that's not a derogatory term to the player or to that type of playstyle. In fact, I often choose a lot of non-solid options in order to win, even in tournament. However, if you want to have a strong fundamental Tekken game, being able to zookeep opponents and playstyles is a key skill. That's what I hope to teach you today with a ranked match I had online. I was playing Hwoarang, who is a side character that I have very little experience in, and that slight discomfort and the lower matchmaking allowed me to demonstrate this. Now, real games move pretty fast, so I want to show you the gameplay live and then analyze it after the fact. Then we'll jump to game 2, show the live VOD, analyze it again. And then finally, when game 3 comes around, hopefully my adaptations make sense. Even though Season 3 continues a lot of the design problems of Season 2, I believe there's some cool Tekken to learn and develop still, hence why I'm making this video. And hopefully if you guys enjoy it, I can make more in this specific topic, zookeeping opponents who feel like they're trying to rob you. Anyways, check out Game 1 of Hwoarang vs. Lars, where he showed me everything I needed to know right away. See, leave me be though, thanks for the prime. Oh, okay. Dog, that was -9 now, and he still did it. Oh my god. This guy plays like a lot of Lars players where they do like pushback setups and spacing traps and down back 4. So you really just have to look for those. And orbital. So I frame trapped him there, but I also could have gotten high crushed by getting high crushed by down back 4 there. So I have to be careful spamming highs. Single jab defending, see what I mean? Now he's gonna try to spacing trap me. Look. Oh my god, new shit. Caught his timing. It was a guess, but you know, had a good feeling. Back out. Nice. He tried to do something crazy. Air raid's gonna work. Oh, he ducked it! Okay, the low's fine. Just don't eat the spacing trap. He's gonna mix me. Yeah. Bet I can probably grab him. Well, I'm dead, but you know. Down jab? I knew he was gonna down jab me! I knew he was gonna down jab me. I'm too bad at offense to make that adjustment, but I had the idea. Okay. Yeah. This guy does like lows a little more. Yeah, saw that coming. 4-3 would have been better. At this point, it's in my favor to call out the down jab. Why did I do that? Because down jab was minus and I thought he would keep swings. I knew he was gonna go low, but I'm a coward. You got me. I didn't know that would work, honestly. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Yeah. Okay, that's the down jab call out. I can't do it too soon. I blocked that. Nice whiff punish. Low wall splat. Oh, I was too slow. Over the down jab, yep. Even K-Wiz does random back 3. He's European. That's not surprising. No. I blocked that, dude. There's no way. Anyways, I can call out his down jab here. It's gonna work. I just have to be ready. Okay, well, he's getting hit. He's not gonna do it on hit. Really? Down back 4. Orbital. Frame trap. Ha! Yes! Oh! didn't mean to do that, but that was sick. Nice adjustment. I was happy with that match. Identify the playstyle, apply the counterplay. Andy rematches. Love that. So I alluded to the fact that in round 1, the Lars showed me everything I needed to see. What did I mean by that? Well, take a look just even within the first 5 seconds of what the Lars player does, okay? Backdash, down, back 4. This is a launch punishable low, but what it tells me is that he backdashed a few times and was looking for the counter hit reward if I were to swing into him with some highs, okay? So high risk, high reward, but the odds that I duck it at round start are pretty low, to be fair. What does he do after? While standing 2, goes into stance backwards, then goes into silent entry forwards and does send 1. Okay, so this is designed to catch people running in and doing a super slow move or starting their offense with some hesitation. No problems here, nothing crazy, just like slightly suspect, all right? But what really stands out is what he does after this. He's -9, it shouldn't be his turn anymore, and he rips an Arc Blast. He's counting on me doing, well, exactly what I did, which is a slow approach that ends up getting blown up, right? I block this, I do forward 3 to try to get plus frames. And that's what he blows up with the Arc Blast. Even though he drops the combo after, those 5 seconds told me everything I needed to see, okay? And in the match, I called them spacing traps, but what they really are like approach catches or wish punishes. I call it an approach catch because I'm running into him doing a slow move, and he's just trying to snipe that. It could have been a counter hit button, or he could have just caught my forward movement. That's why he did Arc Blast instead of, say, a counter hit tool like down forward 2. Let's keep looking. What else does he do? 2-1 into low. This is fine. While standing 2 again. And there's another raw Arc Blast, okay? Now, this is another kind of red flag for the type of player that I need to be ready for, okay? So at this spacing, the only way an Arc Blast hits me is if I start running in trying to force some offense. That's why he throws it out from here. It's so far away, it's very unlikely it's going to hit me unless I dash in. So now I know... And again, in the game, I called them spacing traps. But these are approach catches. I need to slow down the game and not just run into him. I run some offense here. He does 2-1 into low again. I block this time just to represent the 50-50 and see if he switches it up. Yep, he goes for the mid. And that's how I find that whiff punish. Everything I was talking about, spacing traps and slowing down, it all adds up here, right? We disengage here. Safe on block. Now, he wants me to run in. He showed me that earlier. So I just stand there. A little bit of in and out juking rather than fully committing to an attack. I move forward here, but I have no intention of actually attacking. And then he whiffs and goes into stance, which gives me a ton of time to find that whiff punish. Already within the first round, he's shown me data and I've been able to capitalize on it, which is pretty awesome. Okay, there he whiffs again. And something else that's important to note is when Lars does this elbow, or he does down back 2 and goes into silent entry, right? The elbow into silent entry stance, you can challenge, right? He has an armor move, but it's an interruptible move if you block it. Usually with a 13 frame mid is the default answer. Counter hit 2 jab and end up taking the first round. But he shows some other things too that are really worth paying attention to. Let's take a look at round 2. This is where the next part of his game plan becomes evident, okay? Low, 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 and then mid. And then he tries to catch me with a counter hit button again, okay? Look at this one more time. This sequence can be overwhelming if you're newer to the game, but this is pretty important to be aware of, okay? So silent entry 2, he has frame advantage. Shoe shine, he has frame advantage, goes into limited entry, and then it's just a mid or low from here, or he could do orbital. Then he goes low again. So 3 lows in a row. I could have low parried any of these, but I kind of wanted to see, is he going to switch it up by himself and go for the mid, or is he just going to go for the damage? I take about half HP, but the painful damage to take is the counter hit down back 4, the Arc Blast, and the counter hit mid here, right? Dynamic entry 2. Again, hoping that I'll run in and do a button because I got frustrated by the lows. So that's why I call these kind of like rage bait lows. Yes, they do damage. They're significant. But his intention is to get me upset enough to run into the counter hit mid, run into the Arc Blast, or eat the orbital. Okay, Den 1+2, new situation. I back up. And then I find the down forward 2 off of a different timing. And this is probably the key lesson to take away. If you take away nothing else from this, don't force your turn on every interaction. That's what these players are ready for, okay? Why do I hit this down forward 2? I've given him all of his turns. I run up and do nothing. Then he crouches to try to start a full crouch mix because he's used to operating on people either running in immediately and doing something or hesitating and being afraid of getting hit. What I do instead is I close the gap, block for like a split second, and then down forward 2, and it counter hits. This could be anything. It could be a mid poke. It could be a counter hit button. If you play like Steve or something, you could run up, back 1. It depends on your character, but the concept is that by slightly delaying your timing, just barely, you will likely catch them unaware and off guard. Now, the other thing to be aware of is if you delay your timing and they hit you, don't get discouraged. That's just new information. Okay, this is a frame trap down forward 2. He tried kind of a pocket sand option with the up forward 3 plus 4, and now I just convert to a combo. I've taken very little risk because he's shown me how he wants to play. Nice block punish. He goes low again. I don't force my way in. Running 1 plus frames, I'm just blocking. It's fine. If he really wants to kill me with millions of lows, then that's what he's going to do. So he shows me he goes low again, and then he down jabs here. And this is the last little piece of data that will be relevant throughout the entire set, okay? So he goes low again. Now I'm really aware that he likes to go low. 1-2 into flamingo pressure. Last hit situation, he down jabs. It's a good option. Down jab is not a bad option to break pressure and get Hwoarang off of you. It is possible that he can blow you up for it, okay? I block low here because he's shown me so many lows. He goes low again. He's stubborn. I like it. Stubborn offense is good. Here's another... You see what I'm talking about? Here's another wish punish or pushback trap type of situation. Backdash arc blast. I didn't whiff a hitbox. All I did was run at him. Okay? And it specifically comes after this situation. Limited entry 2, which creates some pushback. Okay? So he's hoping this will hit. It's not a solid read. I take a block punish. I can get more damage, but you know, side character things. Tons of lows. Mid again. Down jab. And here I just mash. Why do I mash here? The down jab gives up his turn. He's shown me that he is not concerned about giving up his turn. He would arc blast, he would backdash something, right? In retrospect, I could have put out a down forward 2, it would have been safer, but at this spacing, I was kind of like, all right, let me just hit the back 3, he's going to keep going, and it counter hits. Now I get a big combo. Even though I've taken all of those lows, when I do decide to attack, I'm not getting counter hit, and I'm winning a lot of damage back. However, I don't have enough HP to survive the low. So now I know he's the type of player to insist on lows. I still want to stick to the plan of just not paying them much attention, but I know I can be pretty confident in a low block when I need it. Okay, I whiff a stomp like a noob, that's fine. Low again, there I block it, win some damage. Counter hit him as he tries the down jab. There I try to call it a down jab, but it doesn't work. Block the arc blast. Let's look at the situation again, right? Here I try to go over down jab, he didn't respond. Forward 4, 1 plus 2, common pushback trap again. I run up, do nothing. Arc blast hits my block. I get a punish. And again, punishing harder will make it feel better. But I can also whiff punish that. Whiff punish there! Notice how, again, I'm not forcing my turn on every interaction. And look at this payoff, okay? Besides the drop combo. You see the payoff there? Tons of damage. He's forcing his way back in. Block punish again. I was a bit slow. And then I jump over the down jab. Look at that whiff punish one more time. This is important. By not forcing my turn, I create these opportunities. Run up, do nothing. And I just back up. I just back up. He's expecting me to either take my turn with some highs after that bit of delay because I'm respecting the arc blast, but instead I just backdash. And the backdash, the Korean backdash, is still relevant for situations like this. Jumping over the down jab, all right? Going to final round once again, and then we'll move to game 2. Hopefully this is helpful. 1-1, another whiff, down back 4. Because I'm not taking my turn, I'm trying to see if he's even gonna attack me. And he is attacking me, but it's a keep out attempt. He's counting on my offense being too weak. Alright, this is all genjutsu, don't worry about it. Okay, break the throw, have to stay solid. I get clipped side walking, guarantees the wall splat. Unfortunate, inaccurate movement from me. I should have sidestep blocked. Okay, raw arc blast, again, I punish. Try to go over the down jab, but he's getting hit, so of course he's not going to bite. I mess up my stance transitions. That is cheap. Jump over the down back 4. Chill. Chill. Yep, and he sees it too. Now he sees the arc blast isn't always working, so he chills out too. Okay, the low. We've seen this before. Multiple lows, so I block the third one. Frame trap the down jab because he's shown me it, and then I mess up the confirm. But you can see how we're making adjustments. It's a 3-round game to win, right? You don't have to 3-0 your opponent. You don't have to panic if you're losing rounds. You're getting information. And there's a lot of information we cashed out on right here. Low, low. We've seen this exact sequence. Third low. Punish. I have enough frames here to trap his down jab with this down forward 4, guaranteeing this much damage. If you don't have a down jab frame trap, it could be a low parry, it could be a hop kick, it could be a sidestep. Frame trap again, and I could have done the same thing, but I messed up. All right, pretty good adaptations, right? Well, the video's not over, as you may see. Check out game 2.
Okay, now I want to call out his down jab if I can. I'm not super good at it, but I have to 1-2 his block. And it has to be in a high pressure situation. Frame trap there. That's a nice, convenient frame trap that if they down jab after Tsunami Kick, Horon can be a 4. So I should probably note that. Like, if you get Tsunami Kicked, you should not... Bro. Nice, over the down jab. Down jab? Yes! Oh, God. Bro. Down jab again? Didn't counter hit? I tried to jab. Oh, I could have mashed there. I was too slow. No, I'm ass. I had him. I had him. I'm just butt. I'm just butt. That was a skill issue. I had the mash. I just mashed Keat Smash instead of DF2. When he does while standing 2 in a stance like that, or DF2 in a stance? Okay. Back 3. Bro, what? Okay. There, you can mash. He does have armor, but... Okay. Timing. I called that out. Did I not? I'm dead. Never mind. He's showing the low a lot. That was a risky place to duck because I would have died, but he's been showing the low a lot, so I trust my instincts. One, two, he has no extension, so no risk. Nice, the mid. Yeah, I should have just stayed stand blocking. That's fine. If he does... That's fine. If he's gonna kill me this way, that's information. Oh, I thought he would down jab. I thought he would down jab. Don't fall into his... yep, approach button. Bro, my DF1 was too slow. This is just on the level of difficulty where it's hard for me to speak while doing it. Like, I'm so close to being able to do it. Wow, lucky me. Down jab? Yep. Okay, he did it again. He didn't arc blast. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, lucky me. Oh my god. Oh! What am I doing? Stop. Oh my god, you got me, bro. No! I ran into the 1-1.
So some clear defensive issues cost me game 2. And obviously we'll be going into practice mode after in order to make sure we're prepared for the next time we fight a Lars like this. But I want to show you how game 3 concludes first. So after you see the end of game 3, stick around. I'll show you some really cool practice mode stuff that really makes Lars a lot easier to fight, especially a Lars that chooses to play like this.
Oh yes, Flying Eagle from right Flamingo is a good down jab call out. Safe and doesn't, it doesn't give a combo, but it's safe, right? Or plus if I blue spark it. Anyways, I can do this. I just have to be locked in and not 1-2 into his sweep. But you guys see the vision, right? You see the vision? You have to call out the mid that goes into stance because it's rare that it's an actual transition. There, DF1. Down jab. See what I mean? It's so doable. I'm just mental stacking myself. Block that shit. Down jab again, bro. Nice. I got mix. Alright. Come on now. That's fine. He stopped doing the arc blast. Frame trap. Frame trap. No mash. My bad. There. That elbow, he doesn't get a real mix-up in stance after. He'd have to, like, power crush. And they don't want to do that. It's time to call it the down jab, bro. Nice. Yeah. Safe combo. Okay. Homing mid deals with the down back 4 and side steps, so. Ah, nice. Shitty ass punish. No! He 1-1-1'd instead of down jabbing. So 1-2 forward 3 is a nice stable option to deal with that. Okay. He has a lightning screwed, which would make it way scarier, but... Oh, I didn't want to do that. A little too far, buddy. Ah! The single jab is nice. Because if I'm trying to counter his down jab and I go in the air, then I'm risking something. So really, the stable option to counter both is sidestep. Nice. There we go. Like that. Beats jab and down jab. Nice block. Pull me. Woo! I'm really happy with that set. I honestly think players like this are scrubby, while in pressure, spam G-Clef or down jab, so cheap, brother. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Whatever your opinion on it is, if you want to beat him, you have to do the right thing. And that's why I was talking about it the way I was, is because you can choose whatever complaint you want to have about it. But ultimately, if they're doing jab and down jab, it's on you to pick the low crush over the down jab. Sidestep the jab and launch, right? And sidestep beats down jab also. It's my responsibility, if I want to get better, to counter the strats that I think are scrubby. It's like what Ranchu said. If you don't agree with a style, it's your job to prove that style wrong. That's how you get better at Tekken. Not your job, but you know, if you want to get better, that's the fastest way. It's to beat the styles that you think are scrubby. Luckily, it's much faster to review when you've lost because it's often pretty clear where the mistakes are. And there are a few cleanliness issues that really made the hugest difference when trying to Zookeep this Lars player. Check this out. All right, I have a huge lead here after blocking that low, and it's like a last touch situation. He down jabs to get out of the pressure. I jab over his low, and here. Did you catch what I did? Look at this interaction again. Lars does while standing 2 into silent entry. This is interruptible. I try to heat smash in response, which is too slow. And that's what gives him the heat dash launch to kill me. Okay, he does drop the combo actually, but either way I should have been dead even though he wins the situation after. Okay, so that was one situation. Let's look at the next one and then I'll show them all in practice mode really quickly. The next one happened at 1-1. The round count is 1-1. Once again, I have Lars in a checkmate situation. All right, now this while standing 2 hits me, so I can't interrupt here. I have to hold this mix. I do duck, which is a bit rough because he gets the big heal, okay? Now he does down back 2 into stance. This is another interruptible transition. And because I'm too slow and I fail to react, he gets a low, which leads to the next mix-up. Here, this stance is actually interruptible. There are mind games Lars can play like sidesteps after, but it's interruptible. Instead, I let him get away with it into more pressure. I don't interrupt again. And there are multiple points of interaction here where I failed. And then, after the tsunami kick, I try to call out a down jab with an up 4. And he does 1-1-1, which is a good adjustment. So a few things, a few mistakes on my end, and a good adjustment from him. Gonna be sure to note that as well. I say Zookeep these players, it doesn't mean they can't make good plays. In fact, that was a good choice to adapt there. And then there's one more mistake we should cover. In the round right after this block situation, I dash up and play a slow delay timing into his down back 4. We knew he liked to play like this. We actually whiff punished that type of down back 4 in the past. But I didn't stay disciplined in my offense. I went back to an older habit that didn't account for the information he showed me already. So, mistakes on my end, some good plays from him for sure. How do we deal with these? Well, first, let me open up practice mode and show you these interrupts. So, interruptible Lars stance transitions, starting with while standing 2. The first hit is -5, the second one is -9. And because the mid is 12 frames, you have a lot of time to interrupt. This is a 13 frame down forward 1, 15 frame down forward 2, and a 17 frame plasma blade. Now, I recommend picking just the fastest option that you can do on reaction to this. It's a mix between risk and reward, right? If you're too slow on the DF2, then he just interrupts you, right? But you get the best reward and do a full combo if you're sharp on the reaction, especially if the Lars is showing this a lot. Now, a similar situation is off of down back 2. So get used to seeing these animations. You don't want to let the Lars go into stance for free off of these and get a free mix-up. These are interruptible on block. Now, to be fair, Lars does have some annoying ways to mix this up. So, for example, if he does while standing 2-1, there's a little like reaction check here, because in theory you should be able to see him go into the spin stance and interrupt. But if you try to interrupt too quickly off of just the first hit, the second hit counter hit knocks down. Again, there's a bit of a mind game here because that string is punishable. Just a little 12 frame while standing punish. Okay, so Lars has options too, but in general, it's in the defender's favor. Now, you might be thinking, oh, FDX, he has an armor move. Well, luckily, the down forward 1 check is consistent against this situation, right? The armor move here, if you down forward 1 sharp enough, you can still block. You recover in time to just block the hitbox. And if he's doing this, he's willing to go minus 14 to stop you from checking him. I think this is a pretty rare case of something that would happen, right? It does shut off the down forward 2, so you have to do just a down forward 1 check. But I think it'd be pretty rare for a Lars player to be ready to implement this armor move right away. And if he does this, you just go back to blocking. You just go back to blocking. The lows become punishable. The armor move exposes him to damage. It puts the risk reward in your favor as the defender. One crucial exception to be aware of, and this is why I recommend just doing a down forward 1. Lars' down forward 2 is another 1 hit into stance that's interruptible, but it's only minus 3. I can't down forward 2 him without it trading. You see, even if I mash the input as soon as I can. So here, a down forward 1 check is better. Right, interrupt the stance options and just keep him contained. This one is a bit trickier and it's a bit annoying because it's a good counter hit button as well. So, in general, interrupt Lars with a 13 frame mid if he goes into stance off of like 1 hit, into silent entry stance when he's down low. All right, and one unfortunate tricky thing is this stance transition doesn't have the same weakness in terms of the armor move. Right, if I do down forward 1, I actually don't recover in time. Okay, so this, again, puts the mind game back to just stand block, right? Stand block, yes, mid, low. If you wanted to do something like jab, you're exposed to the low, although it doesn't counter hit launch you anymore. So there's a lot of potential layers to this mind game, but I think it boils down to do the mid interrupt. If he does the armor move, you could deal with that later by just stand blocking and going back to guessing mid, low. And if you're at the point in your game where you're comfortable sidestepping on defense, you can sidestep block in almost any direction and shut down a lot of this stance. The reason I say that is because the low is so linear off of down forward 2 that you can go left or right. And it completely evades this. Sidestep block. Just a micro sidestep block and he's gone. The rest of the silent entry moves have their own individual trackings. Generally, you can go left and it will beat a lot of these options, but the key thing to be aware of is left is tracked by the Send 3+4, which is one of his good moves, right? Really good moves out of stance, and this one is beaten by going to the right. So you can lab the individual options here. Just know that the sidestep makes you immune to the low. And because of that, if you're sidestep blocking really cleanly, then you're basically shutting down a ton of the options, including the power crush. You see how that it whiffs on just a tiny sidestep left? And then if I go to the right, I still get my 14 frame punish because I sidestep blocked. Yep, so Lars, his send stance has gotten a lot worse, especially off of transitions like DF2. Interrupting is a generally good option, but because of that new mind game from the frame data of the down forward 2, you may just consider playing sidestep block. Depends on your preference. So I mentioned the limited entry stance. Look at this. Shoe Shine into limited entry is +3. Both options here are 16 frames. I'm in crouch. While standing 4 works. 11 frames. I can just interrupt here. Even do a 12 frame interrupt. But you want to pick your fattest hitbox possible, okay? The reason why is because Lars can orbital out of this stance and it will evade a lot of options, okay? So just pick your fattest hitbox. This does open other mind games, to be fair. Lars can Shoe Shine into Sidestep and Arc Blast. But again, if you're fighting somebody and you're just trying to Zookeep them, you can pick the bare minimum option.
If they advance the mind game to the next defensive layer, then that's good. They are clearly prepared for the matchup, and you can be prepared too. But in the meantime, if you want to just deny them getting a bunch of free damage running this mix over and over again, and you don't want to just guess the low properly, take your interrupt here. You'll have to check your character's specific options here. And for the sake of completeness, this is what happens if you try to down jab it. Lars just orbitals over you. So in general, you can interrupt the shoe shine. A good Lars player will start to play sidesteps if you do it, right? So it'll look something, again, like this, and it will beat your down jab as well. So keep that in mind, but don't let him shoe shine for free over and over into the stance mix-up. Okay, take your interrupt attempt. If you're wrong, go to the next mind game. All right. Hopefully that helps. Again, even though Season 3 has a lot of design issues that still remain from Season 2, there's still a lot of Tekken to play. So, if Tekken still interests you, there are still things to learn. I'm still trying to find fun things to learn about the game and seeing what I can share with you guys. And hopefully, future patches will be better. I think a lot of this movement, counterplay, and solid defensive stuff is why a lot of people got into Tekken in the first place. Leave a like and a comment if you haven't already. Subscribe for more, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.